really appreciate that your just attention. That I think that is we have a perfect opportunity. We just invite all these very distinguished panelists to join this topic. You know, I think the biggest value actually we protect the supply chain is to secure our patients, our consumers' health and safety, right? So that is the biggest value. As the two speakers have mentioned, that we are facing with a very challenging environment to secure the supply chain. Because, you know, we are facing with, as you all know, that we have a daily, the cargo loss, internal shift from some vulnerable phases of the supply chain every day. The second thing is, the bad guys are doing the same. They have their illegitimate supply chain from online to offline across the borders. And also we have to be very careful some of the invasion into our supply chain and distribution channel. So I think it's not an easy job, but today we have a very perfect task force team. We have, you know, the biggest, pharmaceutical, the organizations, and we have the right owners, we have the supply chain practitioners, and we also have our biggest distributors. So with all these participation into the fighting against the illicit trade in the supply chain, I think we can just get a little bit more, just closer to the perfect end that to make our supply chain secured, right? And also, let's start from our today's panel. So I will, because you know, Artu, you mentioned that maybe you have a different perspective because you are on behalf of the pharmaceutical, the right owners, right? So my first question will be very straightforward. What is your opinion about supply chain security standards? For example, TAPA standards, in helping organizations or your companies to protecting their brands and the revenue. So we can start from Artu, or start from, yeah, Artu, please.
Okay, since I'm holding the mic, I'll just start first.
Yeah.
Conveniently passed on to me.
Yes.
Yes, so as I mentioned earlier, I am not an expert in supply chain. I am still learning, but I am applying whatever I'm learning into the data analytics that is given to us by the intelligence agencies and our analysts. So, very specific to your question, it is a real problem. There are a lot of theft that we are looking at. There's a lot of illegal diversion that we are looking at as well. And unlike the EU, where it is a lot more unified, the same is not seen in Asia Pacific. The customs organizations and the ASEAN government wanted to create the one ASEAN window. There was a lot of buzz about it, but it never took speed. We are where we were about 10 years ago, unfortunately. So that brings me to the issue on standardizations. Standards, in my opinion, being a drug regulator, being a prosecutor, it gives clarity. It gives an understanding into application and appreciation. So it is for that reason why I think that TAPA standards, or standards for that matter, is very important. But what is more important is that it is understood and applied by practitioners. And of course, it is not a one-time wonder where one day you wake up and you tell yourself, I'm an accredited auditor, but rather it is an ongoing process because you go and you learn and you continue to learn and you continue to apply. And that's how and where we improve. Because everybody talks about blockchain, but where are we now? The buzz is gone because you already moved on to the next thing. So I'm going to give space now. I'm going to hog the mic. So,
Chandra, please.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. Seems like you already finished everything. All right, let me share the real life scenario on this particular question. It's very important because it's really with me. When I joined a manufacturing facility, I still remember they goes into the CTPAT audit. So those know CTPAT audit, it is something that a little bit higher level, which is US Custom Border Protection will travel down to audit one factory outside US and if you fail, it's going to be directly impact the export into US. So incoming trucks, trailers will be scrutinized, and you will have a trouble, and the revenue will go down easily, right? It's impacting your on time in full OTIF kind of thing. When OTIF is impacted, it's impact the company's revenues. So when I did that, when I participated in that particular company and audit as well, one thing I presented the membership of TAPA, and also the data intelligence, which is at that time TAPA still they have that, shows that cargo theft, crime incidents, where we are, and what the standards that we want the supply chain partnership members must comply with, and what are standards they must have. That checklist allows us to come out in a shining star on that particular assessment. So that's directly given the investment back to the business and protecting the revenue. So that's what really makes me to continue to have this standard. Only thing, we started to change according to where we are operating. So it's like, yes, we have ABC 1, 2, 3 on TSR and FSR, but we try to change it according to the risk profile of the country, state, district where we are operating. So that's really make an impact for the business, and really, really that's make a brand protection as well, protecting the revenue clearly with the organizations.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. I totally agree with what Chandra is saying, and I agree with what Ramesh is also saying, because by the end of the day, standards define what an organization have already set. Now, for every standards that is being developed, it is contextualized to actually the objective of an organization. In this context, we are talking about brand protection, right? If we don't have any guidelines on brand protection, how do we actually add value to the organization? Now, be it whether you are from the client, you are co-supply chain management, right? Having standards where it is all internationally recognized will provide benefit for the organization, will add value, and of course, will also enhance confidence for clients. Let's say for me, we are Zuellig Pharma, so client will have more confidence in brand protection, right? So having guidelines and standards such as TAPA, specifically for brand protection, will definitely enhance the company's image, right? Will add value to the organization, and of course will benefit in terms of security. Because I was approached recently, and somebody was asking me, now, some of the organization, because the guy was from a security company, so he said some of the organization is a bit hesitant, right, to embrace or embark into digitalization, improving security and all that. And to add on to that, I think Chandra mentioned very clearly that some organizations, they are a bit reactive. When things happen, then they come and step in. And they try to get problem solvers to solve all these challenges. But by having standards, it will actually improve on this area. Because why? We have check and balance, right? We do audits, and we want to make sure that it is according to those levels. Yeah? So this is based on my view on this. Having standards specifically for brand protection is very beneficial to every organization. It will actually work towards a certain level of standards so that we can have continuity towards all of the rest of the industry. Yeah?
So all three of them have covered the advantages of TAPA when it comes to an organization. There's another aspect where the security managers or the supply chain managers, when they do TSR, FSR training, even if their organization is not certified by TAPA, at least they bring in all the standards, the requirements of TAPA into their organization. So that's also another advantage of doing TAPA training. Practically speaking, we operate, Johnson & Johnson operates globally in all geographies. So what we have seen is that in US, North America, and Europe, our losses are less. Because the transporters that we use, the third-party logistics that we use, they are TAPA certified. However, the losses in Latin America and Asia Pac, comparatively here is less organized. High-risk countries like South Africa, Latin America, we have armed hijackings, because one of the reasons is that our service providers there are not TAPA certified. So I think practically it really helps an organization if your service providers, if not you yourself, are TAPA certified.
Yes, yeah. I think that all the panelists are mentioning good things. I think that is why we want to enhance the TAPA supply chain security standards from the brand protection perspective. I think the biggest thing is that we want to providing a very proactive approach to, we can apply some of the preventative countermeasures through the implementation of the standards and the guidance, or sharing the best practice with all the industry friends, right? And another thing is that both the panelists are in a very highly regulated industry. So you also have to comply with the regulatory requirements, right? So I think that is, actually we're building up the wall to protect to get these bad guys out of the wall, right? So, so how we're going to continuously just pursue that better standards, and for sure that the implementation of these very detailed guidance standards into the industry. That was another thing. But I'm very happy to see that we have alignment. That is it's the right time. We can just see the supply chain standards from a more proactive brand protection perspective, right? So you have mentioned some of the new trendings about digitalization, a better supply chain visibility, and also the data-driven, the monitoring towards the supply chain security, right? So my next question will be, what are the supply chain technologies or solutions you already apply to enhance the brand protections? And maybe you can just share from your members' perspective.
Okay, so I will not go into the details of members' trademark issues or actual work itself for confidential reasons, but what I will share is in the general understanding and the application of it. We have come so far from the days of RFID. These days, or even just during COVID, everybody was talking about QR code and ensuring that, but QR code is yesterday's news.
Yes.
It can be easily replicated despite countries and country regulators arguing against it. That's a big inside joke. So as long as you think that you have technology that cannot be replicated, you are already being replicated, because you're not coming to terms. As one of the earlier slides, if you don't understand and acknowledge that you have a problem, you're already behind it. So we have now identified where it is also more about the track and trace, where there are certain dedicated ops room or GSOCs where an entire transportation is being monitored. We are talking about putting in sensitive materials within the packaging, where you can now give it to a third-party vendor to create the packaging without they themselves knowing that there are embedded threats there. That's how sensitive and how far we have come, right? We have where there are very sensitive cancer medications, perhaps. Even the blister packs are specially encoded. But you see, as much as I want to say that these are all the great things, I will also share with you, we now have an ongoing case where the packaging is counterfeit, the blister pack is illegally diverted, and the hologram that is used is actually authentic but belonging to another member. This is what we call a very sexy case, because we are very close as to how it came about and sold in a legal supply chain. So now everything and everywhere is corrupted, right? So there are real issues, but in terms of technology, we have come quite a long way, but I think we will always be playing catch up because we are soon going into the metaverse. And that's a whole demon altogether.
Yeah, just cover a little bit on that technology part, because we are in consumable business industry. We just sort of have a system called a track and trace, which is available in the market. Most of the industry is using that. It's not only helping on the identifying counterfeit products, it's also helping us to know that the product is still in the plant, it's not stolen, it is already in the markets or not. So at least it's traced back on the birth of the product when you scan with your handphone, all that. So track and trace is one of the technology. It is something available on the market, which is you can tweak and turn based on how your business is evolved and what is the risk associated with your asset in the business. So that's one thing I can share that. Sorry, Mike, you have that.
Right, I think both of them mentioned critical areas. For Zuellig Pharma, we actually look into technology in very detail because we embark on technology ever since it's being announced, and we went through it, and up till now, we are still trying to embrace more of it. Now, currently for Zuellig Pharma, we practice using the blockchain technology, where we have RFID, we have hologram stickers, and end-to-end management. So this is what we try to actually embrace on, and we are looking further into AI, machine learning. So now, to have all this technology in is crucial because we don't want to be backdated on how security is. The clients will want to know how are we going to protect all their products, their assets, right? And even in terms of distribution, how do we know that it's reaching to that distribution? It does not go somewhere else. So in other words, for us, we have this technology where we call it as Easy Tracker. It's a blockchain technology. You can look it into our website. So this is how we actually manage, right? We ensure that during the whole process of distribution, redressing or repackaging, all this is all being controlled, right? There are tags, it's all being monitored. So implementing this technology will definitely benefit every organization. This is my point of conversation. If you don't embark forward, then I think you'll be at a loss, right? If things goes missing, especially when we talk about pharma products, right? You mentioned about counterfeits and all that. So it is very important and crucial that we really embrace the technology and move forward and implement it into the organization. Then we can actually see what is the outcome. Yeah?
Yeah, so in terms of our business, we are currently at the primary level of technology using, holograms, QR codes, secure packaging, etc. Maybe because of, I'm talking about consumer health, maybe because of the value of our products and the reach of the products. But yes, where we need to go is data analytics. Where we need to go is use artificial intelligence. We need to have teams which can scan all the dark web or oblique the sites, online sites, because diversion is also a big issue with products. So that's something which is very difficult to catch. So I think the basic technology's time is over. As he said, it's very easily, it can be replicated. We need to move on to AI and data analytics to protect our products.
Yeah, so I really appreciate that your comments and inputs. I think that no matter for like the traceability or the serialization, blockchain, digitalization, I think that is almost like the tools that we can just take in a very comprehensive approach that take them as a whole. I think that the biggest thing that we are focusing on to increase the supply chain visibility, to ensure that when the products was on the way, was still always being under our monitoring. And also, once any illicit products invade to your distribution, to your supply chain, you will get a red flags. And also, I think these are the biggest things that when we're talking about the supply chain, security, technologies, and countermeasures, right? I think that is, we're so lucky, as you all mentioned, that we involved, yesterday we're talking about the QR codes, or over the covert, features, right? Now today we we have a very comprehensive combined approach that to take them as a whole. Yeah, so I think that is the brand protection topic is very interesting. I think that is we all know that is still a long way to go, and right, it's not easy, and also that is we have the duties and obligations from regulatory, right, and also. So that is a start point. Even we can just trigger some of the quality investigations right? And also, it will be always challenging that when you record the products, you have to see in which tier of the distribution I have the problems. I have some of the bad actors already invaded our distribution channel. So I think that is, I hope that is, we can just start from here. And because, just let everybody know that the TAPA Asia Pac is also trying to, we are just doing something more from brand protection perspective. And we want to just get alignment for the whole industry to develop a more practical and, just like the standards dedicated for the brand protection to prevent the illicit trade and also some bad guys into our legitimate supply chain, right? So, I think we are a little bit behind our schedule, but any inputs or comments or the questions are welcome. We can just take it as offline, right? So, and I really appreciate that for today's the panelists, the very wonderful speech and also the sharing. So let's keep it up, and also we are just hope that the good things all will come. Thank you.